Now, we spend so much time talking about our physical health, our hearts, our lungs, our muscles, but what about our brain health? Well, it turns out new science is showing us that we can be incredibly proactive in protecting our minds as we get older. So today, let's break down the strategy for building a younger, more resilient brain.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Can we really turn back the clock on our cognitive health? Or at least slow it down? Well, the latest research suggests the answer is a big, resounding yes. But, and this is key, it requires a really clear strategy.
And that strategy, it really rests on two distinct but super powerful pillars. Just think of them as two different toolkits that we can use to reinforce our brain's structure and its function. We're going to break them both down, and it's all based on some pretty fascinating new studies.
Okay, so first up, why is this so important, especially when we're in our 40s and 50s? Well, because what the research shows is that cognitive decline is this kind of slow, gradual process. It often begins right there in middle life, long before any obvious symptoms might show up. So the takeaway is pretty simple. The absolute best time to start building is right now.
So let's dive into our first pillar, and honestly, this one might surprise you a little bit. It's strength training. A huge review from 2023 took a deep look at exactly how resistance exercise impacts the brain. I mean, right down to the molecular level. This is not just about building muscle, it's about building your mind.
So, to really understand how this all works, we've got to meet the brain's own little construction and repair crew. The scientific term is neuroprotective factors. These are basically proteins that are absolutely essential for maintaining, repairing, and even building our brain cells. They're the good guys, and we want way more of them. And look, the evidence for this isn't based on some small one-off study. The researchers did a massive meta-analysis. That means they pulled together all the results from 30, that's 30, high-quality randomized clinical trials. This is the real deal, a comprehensive look at the best data we have.
And they looked at a huge and, really relevant group of people. We're talking over 1,200 participants with ages ranging from 45 all the way up to 92. This gives us a really strong signal that, hey, these findings apply to pretty much all of us across middle and later life.
So, what did they actually find? Well, the study zeroed in on one key member of that brain repair crew, a protein called IGF-1. And the results? They were just crystal clear. The groups that didn't do any exercise saw basically no change. But the groups doing resistance training? Boom! They got a significant, measurable boost in this vital brain-protecting factor.
And this right here is probably the most actionable piece of information from the whole study. How much do you need to do? The analysis couldn't have been clearer. Working out just once or twice a week, well, it didn't really move the needle. The magic number, the real sweet spot, was a frequency of at least 3 sessions a week. That was the key that unlocked all those brain-boosting benefits. Frequency was king. Okay, pillar 1 is in the bag. Let's pivot now to our second pillar, nutrition. And we're not talking about just any diet. We're talking about one that was tailor-made for the brain. It's called the MIND diet. It's kind of like a hybrid of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, and a brand new trial just put it to the test.
The MIND diet is actually pretty straightforward. You're basically focusing on loading up on these 10 brain-healthy food groups. Things like leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive oil, they're the real stars here. And at the same time, you're trying to limit these 5 other groups, like red meat, cheese, and sweets. It's really all about just shifting the balance.
So in this new study, researchers recruited a bunch of healthy adults right in that critical midlife window, from ages 40 to 55, and they had them follow the diet for 12 weeks just to see what would happen.
And the results were fascinating. Now, they didn't see a detectable change in cognitive scores in just 12 weeks. That's a pretty short time. But the effect on well-being, it was totally clear. Both of the groups that followed the MIND diet saw these significant improvements in their mood and their overall quality of life, especially compared to the control group. It just goes to show, a healthier brain isn't just about memory, it's about how you feel every day.
Now, the researchers were super clear about why they might not have seen a big cognitive jump so quickly. Building a healthier brain, well, it's a long-term project. They basically said, hey, we need longer studies to really see those changes. And you know what? That's just an important and really honest part of the scientific puzzle.
So, how do we put all this together? It's simple, really. By combining these two pillars, we create a truly powerful, evidence-based strategy for our long-term cognitive health. It's our own personal brain toolkit. So, here's the game plan in its simplest form. Step 1.
Get that strength training in at least 3 times a week. That's how you actively boost your brain's repair crew. And step 2, adopt the principles of the Mind Diet to create this brain-supportive environment from the inside out, which, hey, can also give your mood a nice lift.
So really, the crucial point here is that all this knowledge is only powerful if we actually act on it. Both of these pillars offer a really clear path forward, but you know what they say, that first step is always the most important one.
And that brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. Looking at these 2 powerful strategies, which pillar are you going to build first? Whether that means adding just one more workout to your week or a handful of berries to your breakfast, the journey to a younger brain starts with that single simple choice.